Start YouTube. All right. All right, folks. This is it. Just real quick before we jump in. So a lot of times in these, by, I don't know, late rounds, somebody has clearly got a lead.
Right.
Not this year.
Not this year, yes. It's unknown at this point, yes.
Well, it was kind of looking good for Japan after the last round.
Yeah. Japan defeated Korea in the 6th round, and so it looked like Japan was going to take it, and then it was 7th round, Japan versus China.
Japan versus
that's
China.
A key game.
So the big question, and this is the first game, we're going to look at Japan, China, and see what happens, because obviously if Japan can win round 7,
That would be about it.
that would be about it.
Yeah.
If China can stop Japan, then all hell breaks loose.
Right.
And sodas and sos, and we're not even going to get into that. So anyway, so this is all of that to say,
Important game.
is a very important game.
Okay, so China has black. Yeah. Okay, so they play this one. This is the most troublesome pin. Okay. What's that?
Well, they heard us, but they didn't see us.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. But you heard what I was saying.
Okay, so we're okay now?
Yeah, we're okay now.
So at this point, like the default Joseki would be this one. This is the one that you usually see AIs play, and players who like to research with them. So this is the normal way. But if you're gonna, and this one is what we used to play.
I remember.
And computers don't like it very much. And this one is the pincer that you can play now, and the AI will still be somewhat happy with you. So it's a complicated variation though. And so white can answer by an attachment here. An attachment here was played in this game, or pressing from above. That would be another move. If white plays here and black plays here, there's some potential for it to switch to a Joseki that we've been seeing in this tournament. It's the same as if white had played a low card and then pressed, and then black pursues and cut. So there's a different order of moves here. It's a very complicated whole thing, where in this tournament, this variation has become, I don't want to get into this in this game because they didn't do it. So maybe Japan as white didn't want to risk that. There's also the variation where black-white pulls back. That's a different thing also. So this is the fighting variation. This is also a very common variation where white is going to combine stuff like this with stuff like this, and eventually white's going to get a living shape on the right side in this variation. So I thought this is the way to play, but he plays an attachment on the outside. Okay, so black has a pincer stone, so black wants to keep the fight going. That's why black extends. So if black had played a hane, then white would have been able to capture the corner, and that would have ended the fight. Then sometimes this pincer here is less than optimal, so it's suboptimal sometimes. So with the pincer stone there, black probably wants to keep the fight going with the extension. And so we have this Joseki. And yes, so here, if white plays something like this, black's going to play here. And this is also a Joseki, although the white group is without a base. So when white plays here, he's going to ask how black responds, so that if black plays something underneath maybe, then maybe white's going to revert to this. But since black plays a different move, let's show the game. Yeah, so in this case, white's going to get a base here. So just playing the attachment here first, sort of ensuring that he's going to get a base after playing at S3 here. So that was why that order of moves was played. And white's alive now. Black switches once to the upper left. Okay, so the Tsuke and the double hane. White could have kicked once. That would have been black would probably answer here. This time it would get into a fight. Even though white's taken away black's base in the top left, if we look to the right of that, black has a lot of stones there. So this fight is going to be black attacking white generally. So that's why white didn't kick in this case. So he's playing more pacifically, and black plays the double hane. So this is a Joseki. And yeah, so white gets to extend. So up to this point, it's pretty normal. Yeah, okay. So here, if white plays here, black's gonna probably play low this time, although usually you play on the 4th line. They're probably both possible. And so since white had a position in the top left, I think it makes sense white played here. And here you see black playing the double honey. So in this case, if white captures, black gets to kill the corner. And so in this case, the group here is sort of in the perfect place to reduce the area controlled by the clonal key. So the corner is really big. It's usually big anyway. So white can't do that. And breaks out, and this is the nice move that black can play. White attaches here. So this is a tessuji also. If black pushes through, white can push through. And this is just going to fall apart.
Collapse.
Yeah. Okay, so white got a move to defend the left side. And if white gets to play, this is securing the corner. So if white omits that, this is a really big move, which is threatening to kill white in the corner. So this would be a bit painful for white to have to do that. What's more, by playing here, white's weakening black on the bottom side. So let's see, where did black play? Black plays here. Yeah, that's a big move. So if white pushes through, black could sacrifice, or maybe black's going to jump here and save it. Okay. So that's sort of finished for the time being, this fight in the lower left, and they're switching to the top right. Okay, yeah. So this is a sharp attack. A safe move, I guess, would be to play here, but he wants to hit white's weakness while white can not afford to sacrifice it. So that was a strong move. And then there, I wouldn't have played that one. It's a big move because white can peep here. Maybe he didn't like something I didn't say.
Pretty thick.
Right, well, yeah, towards the center. An interesting trade. So black eventually lost that stone. Well, he actually saves it, doesn't it? So it's an interesting fight here. Where locally the black group is a bit cramped, but white's not alive yet on the top side. So that's an issue for white. Yeah, so this is where actually the black's winning percentage dropped when he played this move. And it's sort of a mystery because the program we have on this computer, it doesn't show many variations. So it's not the ideal AI.
Normally an enclosing move like that has a good feel to it though, right?
Right, well, ideally black would like to make a double threat. So white's group here is not alive yet.
Right.
And also white's territory on the left here is a bit weak. This group is, it's out in the center, so it's not as if it's going to die. Okay, just get rid of all that. So if black plays here, white's going to end up playing here. Black could have continued in the center. This is what I would have done. So not having a diagram from the AI, I don't know what the AI would do. But I would probably start from this side and be looking at something a bit more active towards the left side. So maybe something like this even, starting a ko, making trouble for white there, and hoping eventually for an opportunity to kill this group. So, but it's a very difficult position where there's a lot of possible moves, and so even something like this would be feasible, although it would let white off the hook here. It could be leading to a stronger attack on this side. So something more active than the game. It is slightly kind of a letdown for black to play this, and now white's just alive. So black used up all the potential to attack white on the top side, and white's alive, and black got these stones on the outside. They're not enough to make up for that because they're not even really connected. So it's slightly unsatisfying. And now black attacks there. So black did set up an attack on the left side, but I would have hoped for something a bit more decisive. Okay, so this is where it gets really confusing and complicated.
The technical term I was going to use was hairy.
Oh, yeah,
It's hairy.
yeah. White's aim is to play here at some point, and the computer wanted to play here right now, which is really scary. And I don't really blame White for not taking this opportunity because the left side is important too. So White played here, Black cut, okay. So White extended, and Black played here. This is where, yeah.
Well, you were not crazy about this move, right?
Well, you know, it's sort of saying, please connect up. So
yeah.
you usually
And
don't want to do that
I
for
was
someone.
watching it. I didn't understand why Black didn't just connect right away.
Yeah, so
Too
even
slow.
now, let's go back one more move. So at this point, maybe, after playing the Hane at D12, I would be more inclined to play this.
Okay.
So in this variation, it'd be like this.
Yep.
Black can still break through here to a certain extent. Maybe something like this would happen. It's probably going to be cool. Maybe Black extends. Okay, so this way Black would be able to live, and White would end up squeezing Black to a certain degree, and then White would have an attack against this group in the center. So with White, this looks like the good diagram. Black's really weak in the center here. Black's going to win the semi on the left. Black has 4 liberties, so Black's going to play something like this, and Black's going to win that semi, I think. Oops.
Sure.
I'm not sure. Okay, it does look a bit dangerous, but yeah, Black's going to win that. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it could be a ko, actually. Black has some issues here. So the issues I'm talking about is this.
Oof.
From this side is a ko. Yeah. So maybe it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So that would be another reason for White to choose this diagram. Okay, so this was an opportunity for White to attack this thing, because Black's group here, if White cuts it off, it becomes weaker than the White group on the right, which is really important. So White continued. Instead, White played here. So when I was looking at it with an AI, this is where the score was really fluctuating. It was really difficult to understand. And here, yeah, saving these stones was the final. This was almost a losing move, I think. And it's pretty clear that unless White can kill something, this is really bad, because White's just connected a lot of dame points here. And so White has a lifeless group here. And so you don't want to save these stones unless they're going to accomplish something. And it turns out they didn't. So we go back, and there's a variation where White can sacrifice that group.
Right.
So something like this. And Black's going to capture it, but Black needs, so for instance, White's going to win this one. So White's one move ahead. So Black needs another move there. And it's White's turn. So this would be an even trade, I suppose. Maybe White would do this again. Yeah. And the fight will continue. There's also the attack on this side. Because Black's not alive here. Yeah. So this would be playable for White. And so it's probably better just to sacrifice the stones on this side when White would be getting this area. So White would have a living group and would be able to start attacking Black. So in the game, White saved all these stones which were not useful. And the question is Black alive here? Because if we just look at it locally, it doesn't look like it has 2 Ys.
Nope.
So that's the question. Black could actually have played, this would probably be answered here, and Black could play here. But Black found a more active move, and Black cut here and takes. White has a lot of issues here. So Black cuts White off here. And White obviously has to play that. If White plays on the outside, White's going to lose the semi. It's not as if Black's 100% alive, but White has no chance. White, like, it's already losing. Yeah, it's an eye against no eye against. So even this way. It's where the inside liberties belong to black in this case, because black has an eye. I've been talking about semi-eyes a bit during this tournament, haven't I?
You have.
Yeah. Okay, so white has to push through here, black cuts here. So this outside has fallen apart. And this is really important because it affects this black group, and it affects this black group by capturing these 3 stones. And these 4 stones are in trouble too. And so it affects the whole area here. So like this was, I'd say this was the decisive fight. So white lived in the center. Okay, so white had captured 3 stones here, but sometimes you can die with 3 stones, so that's what white's doing, connecting underneath here to make a living shape by connecting to the corner.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're just, now it's turned into something like an end game.
Goes on for quite a while.
Yeah, so it's going to be a nice long end game, and we can look at the territory. So this is about 30 points on the left side here, this whole thing, about 30 points. Maybe we can write it down. And this is, let's call it 8 points, 5 points, and a few points here. So let's say that's 43, let's give white 45 points. 45 points for white. Black has less than 20 points. So this is a weak 20 points. And this is a strong 20 points. So we can say black has 40 points with these 2. Black has 6 points just inside here. And then, actually it's 7 points, isn't it? So that looks sort of like a 7, doesn't it?
I was thinking trying to fool me. Like
so
you said 6 and you wrote 7.
Yeah, it's 7.
6,
so it's
7.
50 something. So there's 6 or 7 points in the corner also. So it's close to 55 points. So I said 45 for white. So black's sort of ahead in territory, and I haven't even talked about these fights. So it's really a difficult end game for white to continue. And white's a bit desperate. So white's going to move out with these stones, and it's probably supposed to crash, but that's not the way the Chinese player played it. So black has no words. Everything is alive. So black just connects out with that stone. And the thing is, white's group is not really alive. So yeah. After white plays that exchange, now it's alive. So at this point, it became relatively close, but black was a few points ahead. I think he ended up winning by
6.5.
6.5, yeah. So he's already established that.
I don't think it really changes.
Well, there was a moment here where the computer was saying that black's ahead by something like 80 points.
Yeah.
And that's because he can probably kill it by playing here. And this would mean like this. And white doesn't have any room for 2 eyes.
Oh dear.
So it would be maybe like this. And white could break through here. So if black covers here, white can capture these stones. But the thing is, black's probably just going to do this. It's probably going to be a win for black. But you can see how this is, if you're winning anyway, you don't want to do this sometimes.
Rich men don't pick fights.
Right, yeah. Something could die. Like if, like for instance, like something like this, something like this kind of thing. Yeah. Something like this could happen, and it gets really scary, right? And black's probably going to win, but probably is not good enough when you're winning anyway. So that's why I can forgive the Chinese player not to play what the computer wanted him to play, and to play just a safe move here. You can see he's sort of thinking of it by reinforcing the corner here, but he allowed white to live anyway. So it was probably another opportunity for him to play something like this, or like this. But now you see it could become a ko on this side. So maybe he didn't want to do that one either. So he's just playing safe, and he knows he's winning. So that's a case of black just, he's counted it, and he knows he's a few points ahead. It's actually a pretty big difference for players at this level, 5 or 6 points. it's a lot of it's a big difference.
Yeah.
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 So it's a safe win for Black.
Yeah.
So just going back to, it was this fight here, which is, frankly, it's difficult for me, and obviously difficult for the players, difficult for anyone. But I can agree that wedging here was probably White's biggest chance, and that diagram looks actually pretty good for White.
Yeah.
So this was White's chance to take
It's a
the
long
initiative.
sequence, though.
It's a long sequence, obviously, and White just saved everything, but saving everything to make a nihilist group was sort of a bad strategy.
This reminds me, though, what you said early on when we were looking at the Japanese player's game, which is he's most comfortable when he's in the position that the Chinese player wound up in.
Right.
Where he's got a little bit of a lead
styles.
and he can just bring it home. But in a situation like this, and we saw this problem, he pulled it out earlier in the tournament.
Yeah.
He kind of, I won't say he got lucky, but his opponent kind of helped him.
Yeah.
Remember, because it was a fight. It was the same thing, he had a fight.
It was dangerous.
And the same thing here, I think. I mean, be curious to find out from him whether he looked at that and how far he got with that.
He doesn't like those wild variations.
No. So do you think he just figured he could just catch it up? Play this safe
Well, this
way
whole fight, it was less of the positional judgment or calculation of the score. It was more just the local calculation was very challenging.
Yeah.
So he probably had some kind of a misreading, miscalculation.
Got it. Okay. All right.
So Japan lost to China. That made Japan 6-1 and China 6-1.
Right.
And now we're going to look at Korea's game. Who did Korea play?
Korea played
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. And actually, we're sort of monitoring. There's a couple of key games going on in the playing room.
Okay, I'll start a review.
So there's a Korea game, but before we go to that, let's just take a look at Twitch. Or no, not Twitch. Here at the. Where are the? Where are the Panama games? Here they are. All right. I just want to check in on the.
So which game is that?
Well, this is the problem. We got logged out, so we have to go back. Let's just look at the. Which one do you want to look at? We can look at
China versus Taipei.
China.
Okay. So China seems to be white.
I think so. Yeah. No, I don't. Oh yeah. China's white because their stones light up when it's their move.
Okay, yeah.
But then the other person's stone is not. Yeah. So we're just taking a look at the China-Taipei before we go back to the other one. And do you want to look at the...
So they have a potential koan in the lower right corner.
Right.
It looks like White should have some opportunities in this game. Looks maybe I there's some unfinished. Okay, who is this?
This is
Canada and Japan. So Canada is white.
Yeah.
So they're in this big fight. It looks like White is in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
White does have some territory. So White has to live with this group in the lower right and live with the group on the right side. And then we'll be able to make a territorial assessment. Otherwise, like all of the black groups are healthy and White's sort of struggling locally. So that we'll see how that attack.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you all can watch those on Pananet. We'll go back to This guy here.
Okay, so this is Korea versus Hong Kong, right?
Yep.
Okay, Korea is white. Yeah. So far, looks good. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm not so sure about the kick, but yeah, he's taking territory. So this is a solid way of playing. So we see a lot of this move. This is a joseki you can use against the large knights shimari. When black plays here and white plays here, it starts to involve a lot of ladders. So we could go like this, and there's already a ladder where white wants to take the 2 black stones. Looks like that ladder favors black. Yeah. So when that ladder favors black, sometimes black can do this. And now there's if white plays here, now there's a ladder for the white stones. So that ladder looks like it's good for white. So black wouldn't be able to kill the white stones. Yeah. So if this, then a big fight on this side could have happened. Or if you go to the more normal joseki, black usually plays here, and then white can play here. And maybe this way. And something like this. So there's a lot of ladders here, but this ladder favors white too. In the corner, black is winning the semi as it stands. So if we say something like this happens, black is already winning that. So. Just the order of moves there was, it could be discussed. It wasn't perfect maybe, but basically black wins by 1 move. Okay, so there's a joseki there that could have happened. Might have been better for black to play this hane. When black plays this one, white's going to get some strength towards the right side, which is what white was trying to do. So it's this variation where white plays here. If black curls around, white's going to play here, and black needs another stone in the corner. So white's going to... So this is a nice way for white to get an extra stone towards the right side, so that white can sort of dominate this area. So that's what white is trying to do. And it works really well in this game because white had a weak group here. And so linking up to that group and making it strong is very efficient. From black's point of view, black did get a big corner, but black already had 2 stones there anyway. So when it works for white on the right side like this, it's a good strategy for white to try to do that. Okay, so black played this one. So compared to this diagram that I was showing you, where black curls around first and then takes it, just to mention it. If black plays here, white gets to cover here as center. So you don't. That's why black curls around once. But this way, white gets 2 stones on the right side. So when black plays here, white doesn't have any more forcing moves, except that when white plays here, and for instance plays something like this, then the threat of a white move here and squeezing from this side, for instance. So there's more potential for white to squeeze from the top side there when black has played this move at S17. So it's a kind of a turning point when white is cutting here and asking black, how are you going to capture this stone? It's a very important move in this joseki. Okay, so white gets some forcing moves from the outside. Yeah. At some point, black should be playing a hane, but it turns into a big fight. So if black hane is here, white's probably going to cut. There's some trouble here because it's really painful when white plays here, and white has another hane here that's forcing. And so if black ignores that, there go the
Bye-bye.
Yeah. So that's why black is extending here, but it is passive, so this is sort of working for white. So that's why I go back to the point where white played detachment, and I would say in this position it might have been better for black to do it on this side. So that would have been posing more threats to white and keeping more control maybe of the right side of the board. They're playing on Joseki, so while I say that, it's not so bad, right? But the thing is, white's controlled the right side. There's also the fact that, okay, let's just follow the game. When white plays here, and black doesn't really have a connection on the side. So if black plays here, and white plays here, if black plays on this side, it's going to be like this, and white has enough room to live in the corner.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So black sort of wants to kill that stone at 4. So black plays here though, and this happens. Yeah, so it's bad too. So you see it's sort of awkward for black to try to connect underneath there. Black does have a forcing move here, so it's not as if the black group is going to die. And here. So when white played this exchange, white's score dropped a bit. And so it's sort of strange because there's nothing really wrong with the moves, but it's probably that since black can't connect underneath anyway, it's probably better for white not to establish that shape because in the process, he's giving black this forcing move, which is important for the black group. And so if white had just played, for instance, he plays here later, so this would be a shape move. Let's just have white play there immediately. White's not necessarily going to answer this, so white could start continuing in the center or something like that. Or white could play a solid move here. And maybe he's going to allow black to connect up on the second line. In this game, the left side is the most important area. So white wants to have a strong position in the center, which will support his area on the left side. Okay, so maybe he got a bit too involved in this fight when this happened, and it's not really stopping now. So like this, Up to this point, it seems to be pretty even, and so the suggested move was this. So although black is locally in trouble, white's group here is not very strong either. So what this move does is black is taking away white's eye space and reinforcing the connection here. So black had a knight's connection here. It was sort of weak without that stone at 1. So there were some potential problems. After black plays at 1, black's about to kill white over there. So white's going to answer. Let's see, I'm using the wrong tool. So white would play here. So for the time being, white's okay. So black can play here. And this just captures that 1 stone. So after that, of course, white can push through and capture here, but it's not a big deal. So white will probably just leave it. In this variation, the game is a bit calmer, and black's finished the fight for the time being. And black will find a better way to move out with this stone later in the game. So the thing is, black hurried to move out with this stone, and it was very, very awkward, and it wasn't worth it. So if he had just left that, the fighting will switch to the left side of the board maybe. If white adds a stone here, then black can play something like this, maybe 1 more line. The fact that he can answer 6 with some move on the top side, that's important too, because you're going to see bad things happening on the top side pretty soon.
Bad things.
Okay, so in the game black plays here, this was premature. So he has the idea that he wants to attack the white group here, but he sort of saved that for later because we're going to see how it loses him some time. And white's not really in trouble here. The black group is weaker than the white group on the right. So finally he uses this move after all, and he's survived. But you see he's playing so many moves in the center that he has to play here eventually, and he's gonna get into trouble on the top side. So here white plays the double hane, and so this shutting off the whole side there. And like I say, the left side of the board is pretty important in this game. So shutting off the top side, it sort of links up to the left side, makes the whole area much more difficult for black to deal with.
Feels like black missed the direction of play. I mean, in this something.
Right. All of these moves here, they were premature. Black could have done something with that cutting stone, but he had to wait for a little more. So living first, and then deciding what to do with the rest of the board was the correct order.
Right.
So he's trying stuff, but really that white group, it's not in trouble. So we have a cut here where white can get 1 eye. Curling around, it gets eye shape too. So white's pretty close to having a living shape already. Okay, so yeah. White's made one eye there and the second eye. So white just lived now. And black's left with a weak group in the center. So they're sort of fighting in the center there. Oh yeah, well he did get the keystones though. So yeah, he got the keystones. But you see black's lost speed here. Okay, so now white's starting stuff inside black's area. So it was bad aji here. Black has various bad shapes. We're going to see how that works out. Okay, so here. And white's trying to set up some kind of a semi-eye. So if black plays straight down, this is going to be some kind of a ko. Yeah, so black played here, okay. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so it's a ko after all. So this was worth doing for white. White's group in the center, it's not 100% alive, but at the worst case, it's going to be some kind of a ko. So that happens after black wins the ko also. So white plays here. White has ko threats, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this ko threat. So black is running out of ko threats. So at this point, black finished the ko. And so there's going to be some issues with this white group, but it's probably not so important anymore. Like a ko, there's going to be a ko there. Okay, so throwing in was the tesuji. So if white had played here, then black would have been one move away from killing these stones. So this would be less convincing.
As far as a swap.
It's not, white's not gaining anything.
Right.
So this would be a complete collapse. So he had this. On the other hand, black had to push through because this would be just winning in the corner. Black only has 5 liberties, and so white's already winning that somewhere. So black pushes through, and then white throws in there. So if black takes this, it's just like this. Black had to go straight down, and white connected. So black still needs to win that, so black takes the one stone, white takes it. So that was really big, and it got rid of any potential to launch an attack against this white group. The white group was safe enough already, but the security there, it adds to this area in the center. So all of this strength, it's really important. Let's see if black managed to do anything with. Maybe black doesn't have time to try to kill this group on the right side, just because that moyo is so big. So yeah, so black has lived now. Okay, he's starting the ko. Yeah. Yeah, it's just that the situation in this game, white had so many ko threats that he could leave that ko. He had some ko threats against the black group on the left side too, so this black group. White had ko threats against this group. But yeah, the ko threat he used, that's probably 35 points maybe. So it's smaller than this, but if you combine the fact that white was playing another move, another big move like this Ponukinu, I forget where he played. He played another big move. He played the move in the corner. So combined, that's closer to 50 points. So it's he got about the same value as this group that died with a ko. So that was not a bad trade for white, and white's completely in control of the game at this point. So what was the final result here? 6.5 points?
No,
Why don't we count it with estimate score? It's 12.8. So white won a few points on the board. Yeah. 12.8 is a weird number, but probably means it was 12.5 points.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Okay.
Weird.
So yeah,
that's
it was just that fight in the center where black was a bit too eager.
I just think I look carried away there. Just kind of, just maybe ready for lunch. All right. So we have some choices to make now.
So which game is this?
Well, I want to go back.
Oh, this
I
is
want to
the
go
same.
back and check the Twitch stream. See what's going on.
So this is, we might have to log in again.
Yeah, we'll have to log out and log back in. Thank you, Twitch. We'll go back and check the
China
China
Taipei.
Yeah.
Okay, so does everyone get to see it? This is not moved since
This
we
is
last
not
played.
moved. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it doesn't give us. Let's go. This China game.
It says,
No, and I know it didn't end there.
yeah, that's not enough moves.
Let me try closing them all.
Yeah. That looks more like it. Okay.
Interesting. Okay, I'm learning things. Looks like they got a ways to go.
Yes.
So maybe not quite time to look at this one yet. Not quite ready. I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, we can take. I mean, it's certainly enough game to take a look at, and there's other games too, obviously.
Yes.
Let's see who else is interesting. Well, we can. Let's see the Japan game, right? Let's see how that's going.
Japan and Canada.
Yep. How are they doing?
So it looks like Canada is white.
Yep.
Canada has white. It doesn't have two eyes. So that's a problem.
Is that a problem?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going to run out into the center. The black group has one eye and a potential eye. So the black group is one move away from being alive. The white group has no way to make two eyes. So how will it continue? Looking at territory. Oh, it's not easy to look at the territory because these black stones on the right, they're not quite dead yet. So white has just those two territories on the top side plus some potential on the bottom side. So that's on the top side, that's about 25 points. Black has a respectable amount of territory. So black has close to 30 points on the left side of the board if that continues to be a black territory. And less than 20 points in the lower right, and then about 10 points. So black has plenty of territory. Yeah, white's trying to counterattack. This actually,
Does he have time for this?
well, it is.
He has-
White's going to make a second eye there now. So it's not as if the white group is going to die, but yeah, I think it's going to be a difficult game for Canada.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, I can't make diagrams, can I?
No, sorry.
Okay.
I mean, we can save it. I mean, we could if you want to look
Well,
at
yeah,
this
if I-
now.
yeah.
We-
Well, white can play an Atari against the two black stones,
which he does.
and if black connects, white has a forcing move on the first line.
If
To
you
make
wired right into
Right, yeah.
Alan's head.
Right. And if black can bump against sometimes on the second line, white would still take the two stones and still have a forcing move on the first line. So basically, that forcing move on the first line is white's lifeline to make a second eye.
So
But
can he play away
it's
now?
sort
Can
of
he play away
painful
now?
but to be doing that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
So it's not the
and-
most happy move. And when black bumps against when white plays that move, black will bump against on the second line, white makes an eye. It means that the black group still has a potential second eye anyway. So it's not as if the black group is going to get into trouble here. So yeah, so if black has the stone at J2, then he can play at K3 and have an eye there. So that's why that black group, when white has to live by playing at G1, black's going to get a stone at J2 and have a potential life. So, and I'm saying that because white really needs to be looking for potential to counterattack here at some point. And it's difficult, since black is one move away from living, that makes it really difficult for white to find it. So the 30 points on the left side, 10 points in the top right, and close to 20 points, 15 so points maybe in the lower right. And there's a black move at 03 that captures a few more white stones and saves the black stones, which is really important. So yeah, it looks like Japan is probably going to win this one, which would give Japan 7-1. And why don't we take another look at the China-Taipei game? So yeah, so this one, the winner is going to have 7-1, right?
Yeah, so they would both be.
It's one of the two, right? So
right.
Taipei has played Korea. So if they beat China here, and they've played a game against Korea, it means they probably have pretty good points. So Taipei, I haven't looked at the points, and I'm not very good at counting them anyway. But maybe. So of course, if China wins, they're 7-1, and they played Japan and they played Korea.
Here's the points.
Yeah. So Lai has high points.
Lai has high points.
Right. Lai is the
But I mean-
Taiwanese, the player from Taipei.
But it's
The SOS is
41.
high.
40, I mean, it's really close.
But if it goes on to SOS, then it's not so clear.
Not so clear.
Yeah. In
Yeah.
fact, China has, both China and Korea have very high SOS or something.
The high, 288 and 288.
Yeah. So it's really not clear. I think the results of the final round. A lot of the results it's not just the top players.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And the players they played against and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's why I kind of thought we might want to switch to some of these current games at this
Okay.
point, even though they're not finished. Then we can kind of look at them and get a sense of how they're going. So we've got that, and then we've
Yeah.
also got, what else have we got? Who else is in the running? Singapore, I think, is out of it. But this is,
Hong Kong.
yeah, they're in it, right?
I don't remember their records though. How many games has U.S. player won?
That's 5-2. So I'm not
5-2. Well, he's not going to win the tournament.
sure. Right.
And Hong Kong must have lost 2 games also. Singapore,
Yep.
5-2.
5-2.
So it's just Taipei, Korea, and China and Japan.
Right.
Where's the Korean game? Maybe they don't have the Korean game.
I'm sure they do.
Oh, here we are.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Korea's game. Are you okay? Bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Korea must be black.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's happening here?
That's what we're paying you the big bucks for.
Yeah. White's trying to live there.
I got that. He's got like a half. No, he's got. I don't know.
And that's kind of a strange move that White's just played there. And it's a strange place for the game to be stopped. So it could be someone input the wrong move.
Oh.
I don't know.
I can't tell you.
Okay. It looks like in this diagram, it looks like White might be. I have some doubts about
dying.
White's.
Dying.
Well, part of the White group at least.
Well, we can save these and
Oops.
take a look at
Look,
them.
it moved the stone. Oh, okay. Black played a move. Okay.
What's that? That was okay. All right.
Okay. So
here's
maybe
what we'll
they're not
do.
going to do that. So yeah, it's only half of the White group that dies. So
All right, so let me save these. This is Canada, Japan. See if that just fixes it right away. That's, and this is China-Taipei. And this is Germany
In Korea.
Korea. Let's see if my workaround actually worked. All right. Which one do you want?
Okay.
Oh, look it. Did it work? Did it work?
Oh, you uploaded them? Okay.
Oh, look, it worked.
Very good.
All right.
So whichever.
Whichever.
Let's do Japan first because it's about to finish.
Yep. Good choice.
Okay, yeah. So let's just do it from the beginning then.
You gotta
Oh yeah. Do you want the? Okay.
you have to set the review.
I have to start the review. I know. All right.
He's peeking.
Yeah, I'm peeking.
He's peeking.
Okay, there we go.
All right.
Okay.
All right, we're back, and this is
Japan and who was it? Canada.
Thank
Yes. Okay.
It takes a village.
All right. And Canada must be black. No, I've got it wrong. Canada's white.
Canada's. Oh, looking at the wrong thing.
Which is it?
Canada's black.
Canada's black.
No, I'm looking at the wrong. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong. Yeah.
Canada's name came first, so it must be white.
That's what. You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. You are correct, as usual.
Okay. Good. So yeah. So black is playing one kakari here and then playing the joseki. It's a common variation, and then the pincer here, curling. Okay. So yeah. So this is an even result. Okay. So here, yeah, it makes sense that black jumped up after making the wall in the upper right. Wow. So this is where it gets exciting.
Yeah.
And here, we always used to play this attachment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it didn't really amount to very much, did it? So this is where it's actually okay to play this slide. Yeah. So this is where the game, I did take a look at the AI analysis. This is where the graph jumped up for black. And he should have played this slide here. Basically, sometimes white can just make a living shape in the corner here and sacrifice something towards the center. So maybe, for instance, if black plays here and white plays here. And the center can take care of itself. Like white can sacrifice it. Sometimes white started something on the right side anyway. So white will focus on that and maybe sacrifice a few stones in the local. So the corner is actually pretty big. So jumping into the corner like this, making eye space. If black answers with this, then white can, and this would set up Tetsuji on the other side too. So this would, for instance, set up this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Capturing the corner. So if white gets the good shape with a sonnet 5, it's what white is hoping for. So like, if white plays here, black's obviously going to play here. So it's really perfect if white can get these stones in first and then finally get this one. So that's what white is sort of aiming at. So black played here. Yeah, so this is not good because white's still left eyeless there.
Oof.
Okay, a little ko. Here black doesn't want to back off before white wins the ko. So ideally black wants to play a big move, and wait for white to finish the ko like this, and then black can add the stone. So that's what black is trying to do. If black runs away from the ko first, like this move, then white is not going to capture here. So white would switch to the center with something like this. So black doesn't necessarily have to win the ko, but he wants to force white to play a stone there. So white's made the ko bigger. Okay, so black finished it. So white has lost a ton of territory locally and doesn't have any eyes. So this is already where it's starting to look bad. So I'll just go back and say that.
The slide. Interesting.
Yeah, with this, bad stuff like that would not have happened. So it's very difficult for black to kill this without coming here, in which case white does get this good shape. So yeah, that was a chance for white, you might say. And it's the wrong fight to get into, because white's really getting into trouble here. And there's really the thing is there's no danger for black, because black can choose when to win the ko. White doesn't have any ko threats. So this was white's biggest ko threat, but all it is doing is trying to escape towards the center. So it's not very effective. It's getting a bit wild here. But black can do this stuff because he has the cut here at 03. So his stones are fairly safe. So black is playing a bit of a wild style, but it's working. So white has two groups to deal with. And like I was saying, white doesn't have a decisive advantage in territory. And that's because white lost so many points in this corner.
So it's like 15-point corner.
It's a 15-point corner. And then, there's some extra here, where white you can capture some white stones. So black's just chasing white around and making sure everything is connected. So that's sometimes this is not the ideal way to attack. Usually you play a bit more loosely when you're attacking, but he's happy with the territory also. So he's playing in a very solid fashion. It's very annoying when strong players do. Okay, so you can see how now black is using the attack to reduce white's potential on the top side. He's just playing sort of with the flow very naturally. He's feeling comfortable about this game. Those two groups are close to each other, but they don't connect up.
Okay.
So if you try to connect up and you're killed, and you're cut off at close quarters, then it attacks both groups at the same time. It's usually worse. So white's going to keep some distance until white finds a way to connect up.
Got it.
And he's not even bothering to continue. So that's typical of Ozeki. I would just go for the kill.
I know. It's there.
Black could have continued here, and so black could have. Black has a double attack going here, so this is probably going to work. But again, this move, it's going for the territory, and it's creating another unstable white group. So this invasion in the corner, it can lead to another attack against white's group here. But he just doesn't want to play moves that don't make any territory. So he's taking territory so that whatever happens, he's going to be ahead in territory, at the very least. So the attack doesn't really have to work, but because he's taking territory. So it's a surefire way of attacking the white group. It's kind of a very indirect attack, but it's also taking a lot of territory, so it's safe. So here black is attacking a little bit, ignoring the threat on the right, but black does have some potential to save these stones from this side, and also black has the cut or the ko here. So it's still not clear that these black stones are going to die. So black's attacking on the left first. Okay. So this is a ko. If black plays here, it's going to be a ko. And this is about where we started looking at the game. White didn't have two eyes, and it's probably better for white to jump out.
I couldn't see what is wrong with jumping out. I just don't feel like he has time to do this.
It's not wrong, but it doesn't change the fact that the game is really difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Because you have to remember that.
Right.
Maybe we'll push. Well,
okay.
Either way, you have to remember that white has a lot of weak groups. Yeah.
I see the whole board full of weak groups.
But this really simplified it, made it easy for black
yes, it
because
did. Yes,
although
it
white
did.
gets to live, now black doesn't have anything to worry about, and he's starting to save these guys. Yeah. Maybe, well, this is all the moves we had when I started talking about this game. And they haven't played a move. So maybe white resigned. I wouldn't be surprised if white resigned at this point.
Oh, yeah, it could be. You could be right.
Although actually we uploaded it, so maybe
No, we have to go back and look.
we have to go back and look at it, right?
The
Yeah.
game. That's not the game. Is it this one? Not this one. Which game is it?
Okay, they're continuing to play.
They're continuing to play. Yeah. They're still playing.
Black's trying to live on the top side. So black has to live on the top
let
side,
me
and that
just
will
show
be
you
the
guys what
final.
we're talking about. Fade over there. Sorry, this game we're looking at the continuation of this game.
Okay, so what's happening right now is that black's group on the top side is not alive at the time. And white's group in the lower right into the center, it's completely dead. Like maybe one eye if white tries, but
Just get one eye in the bottom.
potential eye,
in,
yeah.
in Gote.
so the thing is that black's group on the top is linked to that dead white group. So if white can capture black's group on the top, white's going to win. However, when black pushes through here, it looks like white's stones are going to die first, right?
That's the way I'm reading it.
Yeah, which means that it's the end of the game, and we're just waiting for black to resign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right then. So we can move on to. You guys can keep looking at that while we set up the next game. Let's see. Tools, SGF library. So that was Canada.
And we haven't uploaded the
Oh, we
other
haven't
ones.
uploaded it. Yeah, I guess we should do that. Okay, that's fair.
But you did. I think you downloaded them, but
thought
you
I
didn't
did.
upload them to OGS.
Got it.
So this button.
You're right. Okay. So.
And China
we just-
Taipei.
China Taipei. Okay.
Okay. So let's see. China Taipei. I guess China is white. Now this is a wild fight.
China is white. No. China is black. Taipei is white. Sorry.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. China is white. Taipei is black. Final answer.
Final answer.
Final answer.
China is white. Taipei is black. Is that what you said?
Yes. Sticking to that.
Okay.
Does that look right?
Well, Taipei is a pretty tough player. So
Yes. That's how they got
I'm not
here.
going to judge by the the situation here. It looks good for white. Okay, let's take a peep at the AI thing. You know, this is going to be tough to comment. Okay. Are people seeing the board?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay, I'll
Once-
start a
yeah,
review.
Once we get this
Okay.
going.
Okay.
All right. And we're back with a live
Okay,
board.
let's just try to explain.
China Taipei.
what this
Yeah,
is.
What's our game
So,
situation?
this black group, there was a point in the game where it looked like it might be half dead, but as it turns out, black captured these white stones on the left. So in this semi, black has something like 5 liberties at least, and white has something like 3 liberties. So black has captured these white stones, and this has to do with this black group too, because this black group is sort of stranded in the center, but everything is alive because black took the cutting stone. So that's about 20 points, a bit more than 20 points in the lower right area. Black also has an area here, which is probably there's some weakness there with a cut at R12, so it's not finished, but it's somewhere in the vicinity of 20 points, 10 points here. So that's 50 points for black, plus, that's not 10 points, but it's something. So close to 60 points white, I'd say. Okay, so that's black's areas. White area, white has sort of swelled up this whole area here. So this is all white's territory. Looks like it's, oh yeah, it's more than 40 points.
Yeah, it's more than 40. It's closer to what, 50? Maybe
Close
50,
to 50 points.
Yeah.
So I was saying black has 50 points plus that area, but white already has 50 points
Plus
just
the
there.
corner.
And
can we
then,
count the
well,
corner?
we'll give white 10 points
10
more
points
for
in the
that, so
corner,
that's
yeah.
60 points.
60
White does have
points.
to, and black has just played at H17, so next black's going to be taking
yeah,
it down
yeah.
here. So there's some issues, but we assume white's going to deal with that and say 60, and then we haven't
How do you
counted
deal
the
with
right
that
side.
there?
This side here, this is more than 10 points.
Okay.
So white is ahead in territory. So we're in the late middle game now, where all of the fighting on the bottom half of the board is finished, and so white wants to avoid something painful happening here, while finding a way to avoid black swallowing these up on a large scale. And I think that there's various ways white can try to head to a victory. So like one suggestion would be this move, which would get rid of the peep, and a move something like this even something like this would be good enough, and this would get rid of the peep because basically you're worried about this cut here. So that's the hanging connection stopping black from doing that cut. Right. So that's why white played at 1. If black ignores it, then even pushing here, it's going to be difficult for black to make a big territory without sacrificing this stone in the meanwhile. So it looks really difficult for black to get anything meaningful on the top side, and that means that white's advantage in territory is probably pretty decisive. So let's go back to the beginning and see how that happened. Okay, so here black plays a shimari, and white gets this pincer. So white is China, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So you can see white trying to attack on a large scale with white's strong position on the left side. When I research with AIs, I generally see this move almost always. So I think the sooner the better. Black really wants to know how white's going to respond to that. And the fight on this side can quickly become more important than saving these 2 stones. So it includes the idea that sometimes black's going to sacrifice those 2 stones, or at least play dead for a while. It actually takes 2 moves. White can play 2 moves and they're in trouble, but there's still stuff that's happening. So it takes almost 3 moves for white to kill those 2 stones after this position.
I mean, think about the peep at 1 is that white has options, right? Doesn't have to
So
necessarily
white can
connect.
connect, in which case you're glad you played it because it's going to make a difference in the later fight. But you want to know whether white's going to do that or do this or do something like this. And all of these change the way black's going to continue. So in this case, if black plays a move like this later, it's sort of threatening to cut at f4. So black gets a free move from the right side of the board. And also the fact that the loss that black incurred in order to get this fourth, so let's say it's like this, black got an extra move towards the right. And so it's going to make a difference in this general area here. It's almost a 1 move difference. So that stone of 3 it's not in the best position that you could imagine for a stone to be, but it's working. It's functioning as a positive asset. So in return for that, white got a solid area here. So it would change the way that black fights the fight in the top left, because now black has already established some profit towards the lower right. It means that black doesn't have to try so hard in the top side. So black would be more focused on just trying to make a living shape. So something like this, for instance. The idea would be to give the left side to white. Once white has played the passive move at 2, black can afford to give that to white. So that strategy, it changes drastically depending on how white plays. So if white plays something like this, then now white is left a weakness at f4, and it means that when black does stuff like this, black is threatening to cut there. And so now black's going to get an extra move towards the left side when white eventually. So if white does something like this, that stone at 1 is going to be swallowed up, but black's going to get some extra. It's going to change the left side dramatically. So maybe you would say it's wise for white to connect here, but then it's a kikashi, it's a good forcing move. And it's not going to be forcing if you play it at the wrong time. So the earlier the better. And that's sort of the lesson that I've learned from AIs in general. I don't know what the AI was saying about this board because I didn't have time to peek really. But yeah, generally you want to try it as soon as possible. This is the strongest move, but black can still, in this case, black might. I don't know. So I'm more used to white having a stone at d10. In this case, black has more room, so it has more ideas maybe, but anything towards the side would still be forcing. In this case, black has enough room that black could actually probably just start a direct fight and have that threat there. So if white continues, eventually there's going to be that threat there, which means that black will be able to get out on this side. So just the general idea. In actual practice, it gets really messy, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so by doing that first, it made it easier for white to sort of counterattack like this. I think black's already...
Actually, given everything that you just said, that was played in entirely the wrong sequence.
I think it was just the one move difference. It made a big difference here. It made white...
Because now white's got all these stones here. It just changes everything.
Yeah, so... and black doesn't have a good way to use this stone now. It becomes much more difficult.
And white can play the strongest move without...
Yeah. So I think that's pretty important. So yeah, that's not enough. Black didn't get anything out of that peak. So yeah, so it's really interesting how different it is.
It is
black
amazing.
Peaks first.
Yeah.
So with this move. So yeah, I'm going to go back and say that again.
No, I'm a believer. Totally. Yeah.
But you know, this fight here, it gets really complicated.
Oh yeah.
So,
but that's a choice.
You have to do it now when it's just the 2 stones here. It's a real option to sacrifice them. If you can get into a really hot, big fight in the lower left area, they become sort of irrelevant.
But I think from what you're explaining, a key thing to be thinking about this in terms of handling this is treating the 2 stones on the upper left as light,
right?
And the key thing being that this white stone is just one white stone right now, but it gets a chance to, as an end the game, as a second one, all of a sudden it really changes.
Yeah.
So white can definitely wants to have that fight. Yeah, so that's a really good
So yeah,
explanation.
it's the fact that this is kind of a very important stone to have. Like when black, if black were to invade the left side, it's always going to come into play as black sort of
backing
if
back.
black has a stone, I don't know exactly where to play it, but when this stone is moving out in this direction, it's going to be a hanging connection or something, and it's going to help black move out there.
Got it.
And so when black plays it later, different things happen. So it's very important to have it in now, and depending on how white answers, it's going to change black's strategy in the whole area. So.
But in that game, it just feels like black is just sort of handed white this huge.
Yeah, by playing one stone in the upper left, it made the upper left important, and so black didn't have time to make this peak work. And white seems to be playing very simple moves, but the way white handled it was actually very elegant and effective.
Right.
So, assuming white can play like this, it was a bad strategy. Yeah. If you're lucky, your opponent doesn't play so strongly. Okay, so white started to call because he had that one co-threat in the lower right, lower left that is, and white wins the call. So that was a trade, but the winning the ko here was really big. So the thing to learn from this is that you can play up to this point, but when you play this ko, you have to know where your ko threat is. That's the important thing. And so strong players already have the ready when they start the call. So this has strengthened this white group. This was a weak group, and white didn't really know how to reinforce it yet. So he started the call just to see how that turned out. And when white wins the call, he doesn't have to reinforce it anymore. So black got something on the left side, but the left side is not decisive yet. So he's trying to continue. Okay, yeah, white's playing very strongly here. Okay, so white finally had to connect, but white has managed to disconnect the two black groups. This one, black needs one more stone. Black could play at D11, and that would save that black group. Otherwise, that black group is not alive. No, it's not connected underneath yet. So, but also the group on the outside. So it looks like this has actually captured the black group. So black can, if black plays here, white can connect underneath. So that is one way white captures the black group. If black plays here, black doesn't have enough liberties, does he? So yeah, so white has captured the black group with this move. The reason it's not some other move, like for instance like this, is because black had an attachment here, and this, and then this. Oof. So black was looking at that potential. And so once black has moved out into the center, black was thinking of cutting white off there with the bamboo joint and then a cut at 5. If black had done it earlier, he probably didn't have enough liberties to make it work. So if black did this, let's see. Black only has, black's going to lose these stones, I think. So let's see, how is white going to do it? 3 liberties might be enough, so even this way. Let's just make a variation here. Okay, this was a crash for white, so I messed up there.
Wow.
So white does have to be careful. Okay, so yeah, but maybe white's okay if he doesn't play that. So if white doesn't play that,
yeah, this H.
Yeah, and just so since it can be three liberties, white can just play here. And yeah, so now black can't accomplish the same squeeze. Yeah, so this is bad for black. Black didn't get the same squeeze in this case. So black was looking at that, but he had to move out first, and then white played here. White just captured the black group on the left. Okay, yeah. And now white. So finally, white got time to capitalize on the winning the ko. So this is the follow-up move. So the corner group it's not alive. It's going to be another ko in the corner. But white needs to have some ko. So white's going to start with the fight, still attacking black in the center of the board. Okay. And it's still a ko in the corner.
Corner ko.
Okay. And this corner it's not alive, but it's maybe a bit, white can play here, and this is not a live shape. But it could be a bit annoying with the white groups on the outside not being safe. So it looks like white just didn't go for that, and is going to focus more on the outside fight. It's a wild fight. Okay. So now white won the fight on the right side, and the question is what's happening on the bottom side. And so like white's pretty happy with the status quo. So like something like this would be a safe move for black, but it's probably not good enough. So white's going to be happy with the territory on the left side, the territory on the right side, and the bottom side in this case. So black's going to try something, probably, yeah, black's going to try this, and they're getting into a semi-eye. Okay. And so that was a trade. Okay. And this is...
White have to play that?
Okay, did white have to play that? Okay, we'll do a variation. So white did not have to play that. But in this variation, black can
Sorry.
take these guys.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's what the issue was. So actually, black could try it in various orders, but this would be one way that black can get out. I think it's this diagram. Yeah. So maybe that's what he didn't like. And that's all the moves we have, but they probably played some more. Do you want to go back to the game?
What I want to do
Broadcast?
is we'll give them. You guys, let's see what's going on in Go Panda.
That's the Japanese game.
It looks like that must be over.
And this is where black, where white
Yeah,
goes
black
out.
by resignation.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, that's fine. So that one's done. This one's still going on. China's still going on.
This is China.
All right. You guys can look at China for a hot second. We're going to take a quick break. It's just break time.
Okay.
And then we'll come back and we'll see what's going on. All right. that off. Bring that back. All right, we're back for our wrap up here. So we'll take a look at
This is China-Taiwan.
couple of key things.
Okay, well, we covered most of this
We did.
before.
We
So
did.
this was the
Just
first.
Fast forward.
The peep here was at the wrong time. So this is the most important idea, maybe, where he should have probably peeped here. I'll be interested to see what an AI analysis does with that, because I'm saying it sort of from my memory of previous research with AIs and my understanding of this position, where I think that blacks should play the peep as soon as possible. But I haven't seen this particular board position, so I could learn something from the AI in this position.
Good to know that you need to learn something.
Yeah. But obviously this is not working for black.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So making sabaki with the ko. Other options would have been stuff like this or stuff like this, which are not so exciting moves. They're less exciting. So when white has a ko threat, you can play here. It's always good if you can force your opponent to connect like this. So that's the idea. And they're going to fight the ko. So white by making a ko trade, and white does have some potential to attack black, and now white's alive on the right side, so it was useful. And it stopped, white didn't have to play any more defensive moves there. Okay, so that's how that worked. And this was really strong, breaking black into two like this. Okay. So at this point, white seems to be leading in territory. And there's this word ko thing in the corner. This one, yeah. Yeah, so it's not alive, but so like
It's not live, but it's not dead.
it's not alive, but it's really a headache for white to do something like this. White would have weak groups all over the place, and it would be very dangerous. So he's going to focus on the outside fight first. And the thing is that when white wins the outside fight, white's going to get some territory out of it. So like this. And so it's worthwhile. So black actually killed these white stones because the group in the center is in danger. And so white defended the center. If black answers somehow, now white's already connected, so white could play here and win the semi. So black played here. And yeah, so it was a trade. Okay, so yeah. And white played here. So I was suggesting a move like this. This would be the super safe move as far as the top left corner is concerned. This allowed black to show that peep here. So that was, I talked about this just a little bit. So the idea is that in a shape like this, oh, this is not working. Okay, so black would do it this way. So let's see what happened in the game. Yeah, this way. So C18 is the strategy to connect up this way. And so black connects here. Black's still threatening the cut at F16. And now black's alive in the corner. But white got strengthened outside. So that's working well with this white stone. So I guess that was white's still inside. White's still in a winning variation. Yeah. Okay. So black is busy trying to make two eyes on the top side, and white has secured a connection out into the center, getting close to 10 points more in the center. So it's not as if white is losing territory, and any potential territory in the area for black is pretty much gone now. So that's how this worked for white. So black's group on the top side is alive now. Black got 5 points in the corner, just 2 points on the top side, 2 or 3 points. And white got close to 10 points on the top side, but also black's area in the top right has shrunk. So on the whole, I think it's a pretty even trade. Still looks like a win for white. Played here. I don't see the necessity for that move. Well, there was a cut here, so the cut here would be, the cut here is Sente for black.
Yeah, but
So
that
yeah,
doesn't
so
play it back. So there. So what?
and it's not a big problem, but there is some maji with stuff like this, or this would be forcing at the very least. So I guess it's a move that's not. It's a worthwhile move in this way, and he's saying I'm winning anyway.
That's what I'm saying. He's that's exactly what he's saying.
Yeah, so they're continuing the end game. This is all the moves I have. Do you want to switch back to the game room?
Probably.
Why don't we just follow the game as they play it?
Oh, sure.
The game room. We can show the game room.
We can. I just gotta make sure that we're actually not there. We're actually live over on the internet.
Maybe you
Gotta
should
I have to close it. Close.
log in
close,
again.
and log out. And log in. And
So, yeah, they're continuing
okay,
the
let
end game.
me put that over there.
So we can actually manipulate this by.
Yeah, you can run it forwards and backwards. You just can't do.
So this is where
Oh,
we
and
left
let's
off.
turn the. Yeah, that's since we're doing it here. Let's go ahead and put the coordinates in case you want
Okay.
to talk about it.
Yeah. So the viewers can see this board. Can the viewers see this board? That's the broadcast. Okay.
They just can't see us, which is
Okay, that's okay. So they're just continuing. Let's do it one move at a time. They're just continuing the end game here. So it's maybe they're gonna make count it, but it looks like white's pretty safe. I think. I haven't actually counted it.
yeah. We can't cheat here because we have to.
We can't cheat here. Yeah, we have to use our brains.
I don't know. After 4 days and 8 rounds, I'm not sure my brain is up for it. Now, although at this point of the game, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's what 10 in the left for black. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I think white's probably ahead on the board actually. So
Enough
definitely with Comey. Yeah. But it looks like they're going to finish the game. So if China wins, that's 7-1 for China. Korea has defeated Canada, so that's 7-1 for Korea. And Japan has defeated what was it? Was it Hong Kong? Who did?
Give me a sec.
Who did?
Germany, I think it was.
Germany. Okay.
Yeah, Germany.
So 3 countries with 7-1.
I would give 3 and 7. Well, let me just look at the. So in the current 7-1s,
Yeah. So China.
Zeki is at 40. They're both. These guys are like.
They're both 42.
42.
But is that before the final round?
No. This I think must be
Oh, it's the
current
final
because
score.
This is 7-1. Yeah.
So
Japan and
China is already 43.
yeah. So I think if China wins.
China wins. Yeah. So if China wins this game, it's going to be the tournament.
Look how close this is, because
Even the SOS is the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
But 43. That's a 1 point difference.
I don't know the stats on this, but it seems I think it's been a while. Well, actually, a couple of things to talk about while we're doing this and before we wrap up. You had done some checking because it's been a while. We both knew it had been a while since China or since Japan
Yes.
had gotten this far. It turned out to be, I think, longer than either of us thought.
19 years.
19
Yeah.
years.
So the last time Japan won the tournament was 2006.
It's almost
yeah.
exactly 20 years.
19 years. Almost
Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah. And then before that,
2000. And then 1995. So
right.
It's interesting because in the beginning of this tournament, 1970s, I think it was,
79.
the Chinese were sending their top players,
Yeah.
and so disregarding whether they were pro or amateur. So people like Ma Shouxun and Liu Weiping, people who
You
became
think you're
famous.
saying Ni Weiping was not an amateur?
Well,
I'm teasing.
it was sort of weird, but they were just restarting after the war, the World War II, and they just gotten started. So they were classified. They were allowed to participate in the amateur tournament, and of course they won it.
Right.
Every time. So there was a period in the beginning where every time China is winning, and then they stopped sending their pro players, and then Japan got to win some of the games. Some of the tournaments. I think Japan was winning most of the tournaments for a period, and then when Korea and China got really strong, there was a period where Korea and China were winning most of the time. It looks like White just won the game.
By resignation.
By resignation. Yeah. Okay.
And
So it's going to be. It looks like it's going to be China.
China, and then I don't know what happens after that. China, it looks like it's a toss-up. I guess it would be.
Korea has a high SOS. So they're tied with SOS.
China, Korea, Japan.
China, Korea, Japan, probably. The way I see it.
Yeah, I think that's right. And then probably Taiwan.
And Taipei is probably pretty strong for fourth.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe Hong Kong. I don't know. It might be a clean set. I don't. Do we get any Westerners in the top 10? Maybe Benjamin.
I haven't calculated that far.
Maybe Benjamin.
Benjamin.
Yeah, from France.
Yeah.
And then let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I think it looks like Brady might just sweep in. Brady and Lucas. That's all right. So it looks like
Lucas is at 10th place.
10th place.
10th. Yeah. All right. Well, a couple of things. One is that was an exciting finish.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool to have all of those. Because I can't. So many times it's just like even the last 2 days are pretty anticlimactic because it's kind of.
Sometimes it's well decided in about the first 6 rounds.
Yeah.
So the final 2 rounds sometimes they don't really. They're an anticlimax sometimes.
Yeah,
but in this case. Every round was important.
Kind of cool. It came down to the 8th round, and that's because we had it here in Vancouver, probably. So
yeah.
But it is the first time in North America in the 45 years. So hopefully, it won't be another 45 years before it comes back to certainly the West and or North America. Any just sort of general comments about you were chief referee about the play that you were not just
the players were very well mannered this time. There was no problems. They're used to the tournament system and the clocks. We had some trouble with the clocks on day one. But
they're brand new clocks. Considering that they were brand new clocks, I thought we actually did very well.
But the players didn't get excited about it at all. They were very professional.
Yeah.
So, great job.
Saw some young folks.
Yeah. Very young. Yeah. 11 or 12-year-old young folks.
Yeah.
How old was the little girl, actually? She's younger than that.
She looked like 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
So
that's promising.
And she's definitely going places. So and then just before we finish, you're still playing in tournaments and doing your.
Right now, I'm focusing on castle games. So that's
games.
Edo era, an era when, in Japan, culture in general was blossoming, and Go players also could just focus on Go. And before that it was a feudal era and a lot of fighting all over the country. So it was people were having trouble just staying alive with that. So in that era, they suddenly got to focus on their culture, and Go players got dramatically strong very quickly in this era because they were they're dedicating their whole lives to the game, and they played castle games. So we go to the Edo Castle, which was the big center of Japan, and they would play these games, and a lot of exciting games. So my goal is to have at least one game for each. There's about 60 players throughout the 250 years or so. They played these castle games. So it was just the house leaders, the school leaders, and there were 4 Go schools, so they had 4 school leaders, and then there were heirs who would be the next leader. So it was a small group of players in each era, and they were basically the cream of the crop. So really great games. And I think it's significant to introduce these people to everyone, because otherwise you just don't get to maybe you know them as a name, but seeing their games, and I'm going to try to talk about their styles a bit, and maybe even find some anecdotes about their lives, because there's some of those too.
And I think you were saying that you also feel like their games still have something to say to us today as well.
Well, it's interesting because as we researched new josekis throughout the centuries, we changed the way we played pincers and stuff, and drifted away from the style that they had 400 years ago. And it turns out the AIs are pretty close to that style that they were playing. So maybe we were getting worse and worse gradually until we got to the AIs. And it's the same opening. Like they were playing the Kosumi from the 3/4 point, and they were playing the low 2-space pincer. We weren't playing those in the 20th century. We said they were old-fashioned moves.
But those guys were onto something.
Maybe they were right, yeah. And so it's interesting to see that some of the moves that they played are actually liked by modern AIs.
Wow. Always something more to this game. Yeah. Always something more. Michael, it has been a real treat to be back together and to spend so much time. The WAGC is one of my favorite things. Brings to me the essence of Go, which is people coming together from all different places. And my favorite thing, we're here in the review room, and as the round would sort of finish up, people would come in here, they'd go over their games, they start playing, and you could always hear the noise going up in the background. And they had given us like another room where we wouldn't have been bothered, but we really wanted to be out here.
Yeah.
So we hope you all enjoyed the streams, and look for some more stuff from us soon. But I almost forgot. I'm heading from here to Chicago tomorrow. Big tournament in Chicago, the Chicago Open. It's a Memorial Day weekend in the U.S., so it's a 3-day weekend. So Maryland Open, which I think at this point may be the oldest tournament. I'm almost certain it's the oldest tournament in the country. So shout out to Keith Arnold and the team there. Todd Heidreich is going to be running the tournament there. So they're going at the same time. And then also in San Diego, the crew there is running a 2-day tournament. So we have people recording games in all 3 places, and I'm going to attempt to bring that all together for you, and we have commentators lined up for the whole weekend. So in case you haven't had enough Go over the last 4 days, we have a whole weekend of it coming up. So look for more here on the Twitch and YouTube streams. And with that, I think you probably have some chief referee duties.
That's why I have a necktie on.
It wasn't for the stream?
No, it wasn't for the stream, no.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you, Michael. See you next time.
Yeah.
We have to hit...